Well, it is time for Better Retirement with Citizen Advisory Group. We're going to talk today with Jeff about the do's and don'ts of 401k investing. And I'm fairly certain that I have done a lot of the don'ts. So
well, you know,
let's just talk about what I have done.
I always talk about this. I say it all the time. This is the 401 chaos generation.
Yes.
We've got, you know, retirement is so different. The onus is on us to save the money and be prepared for retirement. And if we do things properly throughout our life, we could probably have the retirement journey we've always wanted. If we don't, it might be a lot of ramen noodles throughout retirement. We'll go back to our college days.
Well, I was going to say I liked them at one point, but that was 30 years ago. I don't think I want to like them again 10 years from now. So let's talk about some of the things we should do. We should start saving early, even if you're not making much money. You know,
just by putting a little bit in, it does a couple things for you. For one, you get into the saving mindset.
Sure.
You know, I look at some of our clients who kids are now in the workforce, and those that have instilled that saving spirit, even if it's only a little bit, it's just something you do. And so when I get the next job, I save, and I get the next job. If I don't starting becomes a very big challenge for me. I've never done it. Now that feels like money out of my paycheck, and it's very tricky. Compound interest, Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world, and it really is a powerful tool. One of the stats that you know, I learned early in my career, you know, as you're going through training and such, I can recall a person who starts saving at 25 and stops at 35, no matter what dollar amount that is, compared to a person that starts at 35 and goes to 65. So 10 years of savings compared to 30. The person that started at 25, if they invested the same amount per year for those 10 years that the person that saved the same amount for 30 will have more money. And so that shows the power of compounding, and just getting started is so critical to get you on the path to success.
Well, I remember as a kid, you know, we had to put 10% to tithe and 10% to savings.
Yep.
Even if it was our $2 of allowance or whatever it was then, that was very important.
Every penny adds up.
Yeah. Another thing you say to do is do take full advantage of a match if your company is providing a match.
It's one of the silliest things that we see, because some people that, again, if I'm not in the saving mindset, I might not really even understand it. But companies match contributions oftentimes, and so we need to understand what our companies are providing for us and at least take advantage of that. It's basically a bonus to our paycheck. It's free money that they're going to give us. So if we put in 6%, they might match up to 3%, or sometimes it's a dollar for dollar up to a certain percentage. So we need to understand what that is and at least do that much, because we're getting free money from the company.
I will take free money anytime anybody is willing to.
And if we don't do it, then we're not getting it.
That's exactly right.
And so people don't understand sometimes, as an employee, I might not understand. If I'm not doing that, I'm wasting a benefit that's being given to me, and it's a pretty big one.
Absolutely. We should diversify and think long-term, which I think when you're young is really hard to do.
It can be tricky to think long-term, and even as we get older, we look at the volatility of the market. When we're in the workforce, volatility, bad stock market times can actually be a benefit to us. That's a newsflash to many people. Well, how is that a benefit? Well, think back in 2008, if I'm putting money in every single week in my paycheck, as the markets are crashing, my money is buying cheaper shares because the value is down. So then when the market returns, my shares are now worth much more, and I bought more while the price was down. So if we stay consistent and think long-term and kind of just keep our head down and keep the investment going in, over the long haul, that's going to be important. Also, we talk about it all the time, diversification is king. We have to spread amongst different asset class, U.S. and foreign, stocks and bonds. You know, right now with Greece and everything that's happening, people say, oh, I want to stay away from foreign investing maybe. Bad move. Foreign investing still today, year to date, the #1 asset class to be invested in this year, even after all the turmoil we've seen. So we have to be diversified.
The whole keeping your head down and just plugging ahead makes a lot of sense.
Very important.
Sometimes it's better to just not open those envelopes when they come out.
Sometimes that happens.
Put them in the drawer. Don't look right now. It's just better.
Keep saving.
Some of the things we should not do, the don'ts. Don't treat your 401k like a checking account. Don't take money out. Too
often we see that, you know, we have this loan provision, we have some opportunities, we can dig into that 401k, but we have to understand that's robbing from our retirement. Sometimes we get caught into a thought that, hey, you know what, I'm borrowing from myself. It still has the same premise of we're robbing into something that we're supposed to be building. We need to stay away from that and keep it what the intent is for, future spending, not the spending of today.
It's way too easy to do that.
We don't want to do that.
Yeah. So also, don't forget catch-up contributions, because we can do that, right?
Yeah, so as we get older, the government allows us to actually put more in. So the 401k maximum contribution for 2015, it's $18,000. But if I'm 50 years or older, I can go up as high as $24,000. So I can do $6,000 more. That's called the catch-up. That's important for a lot of reasons. I might be behind in savings. I can now start to pile more money in. Number two, though, is every dollar we put in a 401k is tax deductible.
Right.
And so maybe I can even decrease my tax bill by doing so as well. So there's a lot of advantages to taking advantage of that.
Anytime we can decrease that tax bill, we're all for it.
Yeah, that's a big time.
Another thing, don't be afraid to ask for help. These are hard things to understand.
You know, it's so tricky. We get a packet of information from our employer with all these different funds and choices, and so what do? Some have advisors that help you. If you don't, you can call a company like us, and we can assist you with your plan options. But you know, one thing that some of the plans have are these dated funds that have a target of retirement, and you can go into that fund. I would almost recommend staying away from those, though, because just because I had a gal this morning in my office, she was in a 2030 fund. That might be okay, but her risk tolerance didn't really match that. And so we have to really match our risk tolerance with our investments. Really, you need professional help to do that.
Well, you guys always have those seminars that people can go to get some help. Let's show a couple dates that are coming up soon. RSVP is good because dinner is served. So we want people to call or go to the website, or actually call to RSVP, that 872-0204 number. They can always go to your website too.
Yep, and we host them at some of their best restaurants in
Yes.
Toledo. We've got Rockwell's coming up, Mance's Italian, as you see on the screen. You know, a lot of great venues, Social Security specific seminars and general retirement planning seminars. Very important to get these information and a great meal served as well.
Absolutely. Give them a call today and get RSVP for these events. We'll be right back on Better Living.